they were taking big cars. In US, you would see a single lady driving what they call a truck, and she's going to just to the market, which were huge gas guzzlers. 8 miles to a gallon kind of averages were there. And now you have the government saying that at least you have to have 40 miles to a gallon. So what happens? The drive change, the whole technology changes. They focus on hybrids, etc. So everything in relation to the drivetrain is going to change. Now what about the other things? Obviously, the weight of the car has to come down if the consumption levels are going to go down as well. So a lot of the composites, the way the bodies are made, the way the materials are put together is also going to change. So that's going to be another mega change for which technology is going to bring in the auto sector of the world, incidentally. And then there is no money for this sector because people have think, even in India, that this sector is now risky. There was a time in the 90s when it was, as was just heard, a sunrise sector. Everybody was talking about it. The banks were going and funding the consumers and also funding the industry. Now everyone says that auto industry through the world, including India, it has become a pocket that this is highly risk worthy. So nobody is ready to fund it except for the governments. So thus this is another mega change. If the governments are going to fund it through bailout packages, obviously they are going to run the agenda. Now this is the general scenario. If this is the general scenario, the aspirations of the Indian component industry have just spelled out. Now in this given scenario, what is to be done? The responses are, you would have heard it again and again, and probably you will keep listening to it. Thus I want to give it another spin and probably answer it through slightly differently. How many of you have heard of a book called Art of War? Okay, few. Any one of the students? You must read this book again. Please ask your teachers to sort of put it in your curriculum if they can, because this is very interesting. Sun Tzu was a Chinese writer who sort of wrote this book way back in somewhere around in the 2000 BC odd, if I'm right. And he sort of defined certain parameters. And let me read this out to you. If you are ignorant of both your enemy and yourself, then you are a fool and certain to be defeated in every battle, and surely the war. If you know yourself and do not know your enemy, then if you win a battle, you're going to win it after heavy losses. Finally, if you know yourself and also know your enemy, you will win every battle and definitely the war. Now this is just the gist. It's a very small book and I would encourage you all to read it because it models certain strategies. And when I say the enemy, it can be anything, whether it's your competitor or whether it's the uncertain times or whatever else. So you must know. If you don't know, at least you must know what you don't know. And that's essential. So the first and foremost strategy for this, as per this, and I thought I would put this a different spin for you guys, and this Cummins worldwide has this, is called the rings of defense. So first is the defensive strategy. So the defensive strategy is to contain. If we all may be very viable, the projects may be good, profitable, But if we don't have money, what do? I heard about that, cash is king, etc. I'm just trying to say why. There was one slide which also said customer is king, and then cash was second, which many of our component guys have just found out, including Shiv here, that it doesn't work. He has to have the money first. If he doesn't get paid by his customer, it's a sad situation, specifically in the South, believe me, where the commercial vehicle industry is in some kind of a tizzy. So, first and foremost, in this defensive strategy, or the first ring of defense would be to save yourself through all the measures which you would be hearing and which probably you would have heard, and this is no big deal. Stop capex, look at where you can bring your costs down immediately, defend your contracts with the customers, look at what you can do with the suppliers, how you can get a better deal with the banks, and if you have a limit and you are fortunate enough to have it, fully utilize it. Get the cash within, so that at any time you require it, it's there. And put certain gates or filters even in terms of decision making, small decision making, so it moves up to a next end-on level rather than the way it is structured to be happening. And brace yourself for survival, because within India we would have the possibility of this aspect of at least brace yourself for a year, and if you are exporting, then you better give it about a 3-year time frame. I'm running out of my time very quickly, so I'll try to conclude. The next thing would be to know yourself. Like it said, you got to know yourself. So consolidate and bring that phase into play. Know what is your core, why you in existence, why you are selling, which you are selling. It is very, very important. Get down to the basics. Get down to the prudence of business, which should be done in any case. The basic principles. Go back. Many a times in the growth phenomena we forget that. We should be doing in the first place anyway. So things like the lean manufacturing, the TPMs, the shop floor in the way it should be done, all that, get to that. And finally the offense. What should be the offense? Once you know your customer, once you know your competitor, once you know your own strengths, then you go offensive. Because this is a disruptive moment which can actually bring you a lot of things which you cannot get at good times. And that is, first and foremost, the legacies which may have been created in the good times which cannot be dismantled. This is the time to dismantle them fully. Go aggressively after building a great culture, getting to a cost structure which you will sustain in the good times, because the good times will definitely follow after bad times. So while don't live in denial mode, don't also be a total optimist, be a realist, and get yourself prepared in that offensive way which talks about acquisitions, etc., etc. It's a long theory, but in the short, once you get this hang of it, then I'm sure that not only will you be able to charter through these uncertain times, but the moment you reach calm waters, you would be sailing and making it to the shore, being the absolute number one. Thank you.